there, you're welcome to the only weekly show that brings you happenings in the world of diplomacy and international relations, diplomatic affairs. My name is Harriet Nartey. The show comes off every Saturday between the hours of 4 to 5 o'clock p.m. on Pan-African television. We are also streaming in over 40 African countries and beaming in some parts of Europe, and very active on social media, Facebook and YouTube, so you can always join us and get a glimpse of happenings when it comes to diplomacy and international relations. We've done a compilation of all the stories that are trending when it comes to the diplomatic community right here in Ghana, and we are ready to present all the stories to you. I will be back right after this break.
In previous seasons, he saw this.
You are not allowed to hawk or preach in commercial vehicles.
The perception in Ghana is abortion is illegal, and we don't follow up with the exceptions.
The existence of the customary marriage is no prerequisite
for the ordinance
marriage.
Yes. And now, are you ready for this?
Some people express the fact that they don't go on leave with pride.
Accumulated leave, like they term it, is illegal.
Because in Ghana we don't have enough lawyers, and the accused can apply for bail where he has no lawyer.
Knowing full well that you have an STI and you do not reveal that to the person and you have this sexual contact with the person, it is also part of domestic violence.
Join the Law Express panel for relevant, informative and educative topics.
It is clear that if the court grants bail, it is the registrar of the court that has the power to deal with execution of the bail.
All matrimonial properties that are sold without the consent of the other party are actually null and void.
Let's begin the show with the 66th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference held right here in Accra. The 66th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference has been held on the theme, the Commonwealth Charter, 10 years on values and principles for parliaments to uphold. The event, hosted by the Parliament of Ghana, was attended by 686 delegates from 56 Commonwealth nations. Delivering the keynote address, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo called for concerted and committed efforts in tackling global issues such as security, financial and environmental challenges. President of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, Honorable Alban Bagbin, also called on various parliaments around the Commonwealth to take cognizance of the mistrust developed by their citizenry towards leadership and work assiduously to steer their various democracies away from public apathy.
The Commonwealth Charter binds the Commonwealth together and directs the actions of member states through our shared values and principles, which the Charter embodies. The Charter states the commitment of member states to building free, just, and democratic societies, as well as to the advancement of peace, security, and economic development, towards improving the quality of lives of the peoples within the Commonwealth. The Charter, as you are all aware, projects the values of good governance, the rule of law, protection of fundamental human rights and freedoms, promotion of international peace and security, as well as protection of the environment. And undoubtedly, these values and principles are fundamental to building just, inclusive, and prosperous societies for all. We therefore have the onerous responsibilities as members of the Commonwealth to translate these principles into tangible and measurable outcomes to guarantee human security. The legislature in particular, as the fulcrum of democracy, has a responsibility to represent and promote the interests of the citizenry. This forum, thus, presents us with a unique opportunity to reflect on the progress made in upholding the values and principles projected in the Commonwealth Charter since its adoption a decade ago. Indeed, the challenges we face today in our democratic journey do not just put to test our commitment to the principles of the Commonwealth Charter, but also call into question the effective application of these principles in responding to the needs and aspirations of citizens.
Parliaments in the sub-region and in Africa in particular must try to understand the reasons for the loss of trust and confidence in the leadership of democratic processes and institutions that has characterized the recent spate of disruptions of constitutional order and constitutionalism in the continent. But it's important for us to note that these disruptions are always started by the civilian regimes themselves. They are those who go against the dictates of their own constitution and the mandate of the people and invite others to take over. We should be able to pick the signals, should there be any, and to steer our democracies away from such incidents in future.
Traco Estates, home to Accra's most beautiful and luxurious homes, presents its newest addition, Traco Springs, a premium master planned community of service plots surrounded by an exhaustive list of amenities. The gated community of Tema to Accra Motorway presents you the finest opportunity to own a land that suits your preferred size, budget, and payment terms. Traco Springs is open to you for development. Our on-site sales executives are ready. Call
Now, away from that, let's take you all the way to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration to talk about the Republic of South Korea and Ghana's diplomatic relations. Now, in the spirit of international cooperation and support, the government of the Republic of South Korea has presented 22 Kia vehicles to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration in Ghana ahead of the 2023 United Nations Ministerial meetings scheduled for December. The gesture by the Korean government through its embassy right here in Accra is to bolster Ghana's readiness as the first African country to host the meeting since its inception. The Korean ambassador expressed optimism that the items presented would ensure a smooth and productive session as Ghana once again embarks on this responsibility since it was elected to the United Nations Security Council for the term 2022 to 2023. Honorable Shirley Ayokobuchi, the Sector Minister for Ghana's International Relations, in receiving the items on behalf of government, stated that the occasion symbolizes the strong relations between the two countries and commended South Korea for the way and manner it hosted the 2022 edition. She further underscored the importance of the long-standing relationships between the two countries.
Following the donation of IT products in July, today the Korean government hands over 22 Kia vehicles, including 12 protocol vehicles and 10 vans. We hope these vehicles, along with IT products, will help Ghana host the UN Peacekeeping Ministerial Conference successfully in December. As a co-host of this year's conference and the past immediate host of the conference, Korea will provide full support for the successful completion of this year's conference. In addition to the logistics support, Korea co-hosted in July with Ghana the 2023 UN Peacekeeping Ministerial Preparatory Conference on mental health support for uniformed peacekeeping personnel. With this close collaboration between the two countries, I am sure this year's conference, the first UN peacekeeping ministerial to be held in African continent, will serve as a platform to further strengthen UN peacekeeping.
The occasion symbolizes the strength of the relations between our dear country and the Republic of Korea, and further underscores the importance we attach to our long-standing friendship. Since the establishment of diplomatic relations in 1977, we have leveraged the values and principles we share to propel the partnerships that we have forged, both bilaterally and within the multilateral space, to new heights. The conscious efforts we have taken to expand the depth and frontiers of our relations have yielded significant dividends, with a deepening of cooperation in the fields of trade, investment, human resource, infrastructure development, and agriculture, among others. The myriad of projects financed by the Korea Exim Bank in the last 3 decades following its establishment in the country have impacted growth and development in many sectors of the Ghanaian economy. The water supply rehabilitation and expansion projects in Wa and the power projects in Kumasi are examples of many of the high-value projects the Republic of Korea has undertaken in the country. I am particularly inspired by the willingness of the Korean government to do more for our country, despite the many impactful projects they have already undertaken. The donation of 22 vehicles for the peacekeeping ministerial meeting reinforces the genuineness of the friendship we are building together. And I see the generosity being shown today as a message of hope from a true friend in the future of our relations. It is a source of pride for Ghana to be the first African country to host the peacekeeping ministerial since its inception. It places Ghana in a privileged position in the discussions the ministerial meeting hopes to engender in December. The historic nature of this year's event heightens the stakes and increases the burden of ticking all the boxes in the preparations towards the conference. Given the logistical challenges the conference is likely to impose on us as the host, we approached a few friends to provide some level of support to the preparatory process that began in May last year. Korea was one of the first to commit support to our preparations. Today, it is my utmost pleasure to witness the fulfillment of Korea's pledge to support Ghana's endeavor to host what it hopes will be a truly historic event. The support we are receiving from the Korean side minimizes the burden and gives us an opportunity to successfully organize the flagship UN peacekeeping event. It is therefore my singular honor to accept this donation and to convey the gratitude of the government of Ghana for the support the Korean government has decided to extend to Ghana's preparations to bring the entire peacekeeping community into the country.
In previous seasons, he saw this.
You are not allowed to hawk or preach in commercial vehicles.
The perception in Ghana is abortion is illegal, and we don't follow up with the exceptions.
The existence of the customary marriage is no prerequisite for the ordinance marriage.
Yes.
And now,
Are you ready for this?
Some people express the fact that they don't go on leave with pride.
Accumulated leave like the termite is illegal.
Because in Ghana we don't have enough lawyers, and the accused can apply for bail where he has no lawyer.
Knowing full well that you have an STI and you do not reveal that to the person and you have the sexual contact with the person, it is also part of domestic violence.
Join the Law Express panel for relevant, informative and educative topics.
It is clear that if the court grants bail, it is the registrar of the court that has the power to deal with execution of the bail.
All matrimonial properties that are sold without the consent of the other party are actually null and void.
Now, Nigeria has observed its 63rd National Day in Ghana under the theme Renewed Hope for Unity and Prosperity. The celebration, which took place at the High Commissioner's residence, brought together government officials, members of the diplomatic corps, traditional leaders and friends of the mission. In his remarks, His Excellency Vice Admiral Ibuk Ekti Ibas, retired, stressed the need for African countries to strategize and position themselves to be able to provide for their citizenry. He also entreated Ghana and Nigeria to deepen their bilateral ties to boost massive development growth. Representing the government of Ghana, the Attorney General and Minister for Justice Godfred Yeboah Dame commended the Nigerian government for its efforts to promote unity among Nigerians and the West African sub-region. He reaffirmed Ghana's commitment to exploring opportunities together for their mutual interest.
Repositioning of the Nigerian economy by the current administration for shared prosperity of Africa in general and West Africa region in particular has been on the front burner for renewed hope in Africa's thriving economy. Worthy of mention is the Nigerian-Morocco gas pipeline project, designed to accelerate access to energy for all and improve the living conditions of the good people of Africa, while integrating the economies of the sub-region. The project aims to provide a sustainable and reliable gas supply that aligns with the continent's new environmental commitments, while providing Africa with new economic, political, and strategic dimensions. Africa will not be quick to forget the energy crisis as a result of the Russia-Ukraine war and its global impact. The Nigerian-Morocco gas pipeline, with about 5,600 kilometers, would, on completion, fuel the 13 countries along the African coast, as well as connect the energy systems from Africa to Europe. This project is estimated to cost about $25 billion. When completed, would undoubtedly further monetize Nigeria's abundant hydrocarbon resources by expanding access to energy to support economic growth, industrialization, and job creation across the African continent and beyond. Ghana and Nigeria's democracy and institutions have continued to be exemplary in the region, thereby boosting relations between both nations and enhancing the shared progress and prosperity of our people. Prosperity of the two countries remain pivotal for the overall economic growth of the region, as they remain the largest economies in the sub-region. Ghana and Nigeria must continue to strengthen their bilateral ties, especially in the socio-economic sphere, notwithstanding the myriads of security challenges and other political disruptions in the sub-region. This therefore calls for more collaboration on strategies to better harness and deploy our rich natural resources and human capital efficiently and effectively towards value addition, as well as to catalyze rapid development.
The economy of Africa leads renewed hope, especially after the devastating effects of the coronavirus pandemic, series of coup d'etat and natural disasters, just to mention a few. It is the duty of countries to focus on rebuilding their economies for the maximum benefit of their people. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as the host of the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, Ghana notes with keen interest the steps taken by the President of Nigeria, President Tinubu, and his government to reposition Nigeria's economy on the right path to allow for the injection of greater resilience to future economic shocks. The various projects highlighted in your speech, Your Excellency, further affirm Nigeria's strong support for the objectives of AFTA and ECOWAS. The completion of the Trans-African Highway and the Nigeria-Morocco gas pipeline will improve connectivity, facilitate trade, and foster economic and political ties among African countries for the benefit of our people. We look forward to seeing an acceleration in the progress of this project during Nigeria's tenure as chair of ECOWAS, with the support of the entire ECOWAS community. The commitment to the Federal Republic of Nigeria to forge closer ties between our two countries is well noted. Our two countries share rich and historical ties of brotherliness and friendship. We continue to cooperate in various areas to further deepen our bilateral relations. In this regard, it is my fervent hope that the 8th Ghana-Nigeria Permanent Joint Commission for Cooperation, which was scheduled to be held on 10th to 14th March 2022, will take place in the coming year. Given the development of the past recent years, both internationally and in our sub-region, there are many issues that our two countries need to address to expand the scope of our bilateral relations for the mutual benefit of our two people. I wish to assure you that Ghana will continue to collaborate with Nigeria at all levels, not just for the development of our two countries, but for lasting peace and development within the sub-region.
I'll be cutting the cake after the count of 3. I will count from 3 to 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. Happy birthday, Nigeria! Woo!
Right, so I am still taking you to the residences of the nations that are marking their national days here in the country. Now, away from Nigeria, let's drive you all the way to the residence of the ambassador of Germany to Ghana, His Excellency Daniel Krall. Now, the German ambassador to Ghana, His Excellency Daniel Krall, has tasked the government of Ghana to, as a matter of urgency, find solutions to the current hikes on taxes, which is collapsing businesses in Ghana. According to him, although Ghana has many selling points, it is important to note that investors are targeting other countries due to the huge difference in taxes on goods and services. He said this is a matter which needs urgent attention to ensure that Ghana doesn't lose prospective investors. Now, speaking at the National Day celebration of Germany in Ghana, as mentioned earlier, His Excellency Daniel Krall also said critical attention ought to be drawn to the rate at which the youth are migrating from Ghana to other countries in search of greener pastures. He said this will affect the productivity rate of the country as the energetic youth are fleeing the country.
Now, when we look today at the investment climate in Ghana, I think we have to know that Ghana, yes, has still some very unique selling points, including security. However, from my talks with the business community, I take home that the business climate is not improving. Ghana is losing ground vis-à-vis your neighbors. Foreign investors are looking not only at Ghana. And let me underscore that this is not about asking for privileges for foreign direct investment, but it is about level playing field. It is about that rules must apply to all competitors in the same way, including in years of election. And I always hear one other request from the business community. The business community, the companies belong to those companies who are paying taxes for a long time, and there is a certain frustration about the fact that apparently the policy is focusing on squeezing the ones that are already paying taxes even harder. This might not be only and maybe not the smartest way forward. I believe that it is about to reach, if Ghana wants to reach its own target, Ghana needs to broaden the tax base. Against the backdrop of the current economic crisis and decreased job opportunities, I observe with great regret and concern a growing sense of disappointment and frustration among young, ambitious Ghanaians, whom I tend to call the new gold of Ghana, the most precious resources of this country. Germany is willing to continue to offer assistance in the refinement of this new gold and support Ghana in empowering the young generation to gain competence and confidence, to gain knowledge and experience necessary to build their own future in Ghana and beyond, as well as to shape the future of their home country Ghana and the African continent in a way they want to live in.
In a sharp rebuttal, Honorable John Peter Amaru, Minister for Railways Development, remarked that the doors of government are opened for collaboration and dialogue in its quest to create a more competitive business climate for investors and the private sector to thrive and absorb the Ghanaian youth to contribute to the development of the country. Now, the minister also holds a different view when it comes to Ghana's business climate, saying that businesses are booming despite the challenges. Let's take you there.
I am happy to state that Ghana remains a very peaceful, safe and a secure destinations for growth and economic development. I take note of your concern of the current understanding where the economic balance in trade competitiveness might not be shifting to the direction which you have seemed to suggest. Ghana, we believe, is a gateway to Africa. The current economic happenings within the sub-region might have made Ghana not to be moving in the direction as you may be thinking. But I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that on behalf of the government and the people of Ghana, government is taking every effort to make sure that we begin and continue to intensify all government agendas, agencies, to make sure that the region remain more attractive to all who may want to do business. We admit and welcome your decision and advice to support government in terms of the refinery industry that we have, which is gold. You will recollect that Ghana has been mining gold for more than 100 years. But the problem we have as a country is the fact that anytime you have these investors that come into the country to undertake these natural resources, all that we've been told is that we have no basis or understanding of the technical capacity. I am quite surprised a country that mines for 100 years will not have an underground capacity to mine gold. What are the foreigners? What are the diplomatic corps? What are the multinational agencies? What are our development partners doing to make sure that that interrelationship of human scale and capacity development it left? We will appreciate this dialogue as we progress from here.
all too soon. This is where we draw the curtain to today's production as we compiled all the trendiest issues from Ghana's diplomatic circles. It's such a pleasure always coming your way when we know that you will be waiting for us to get to know what is happening in the world of diplomacy and international relations. We look forward to hosting you same time next week. My name is Harriet Nartey. Enjoy the rest of our programs.